It's 6:30 straight ahead, how a decision made in Washington could impact Texoma farmers. Plus, police identify the motorcyclist killed in a Sherman crash. And a favorite place for Texoma shoppers is closing after a half century.
Live from 12 Studios, this is News 12 AM.
Good morning, Texoma. Thanks for joining us. I'm Annette Campbell. Olivia Thompson is near Highway 75 here in Sherman. Breaking news at the moment. There is a fatal crash, and we're going to check in with the live shot here in a moment with Olivia. But first, meteorologist Brian Briggs joins us now. A look at our forecast, and no rain in the skies, fortunately, which will help commuters getting to work and school this morning. But temperatures are pretty mild, actually.
Yeah, it could be worse. Definitely, it has been this week, and we're slightly cooler and not as humid. And that's going to be really the big story as we head into this weekend. So those temperatures, yeah, not too bad out there, but gear up for another hot one. We will see if those temperatures climb back into the 90s today. But believe it or not, this could be what our high temperature map looks like next week. Yeah, we are talking about a serious dose of fall on the way, just not quite yet. Bus stop forecast, though, which is sponsored by Langford Roofing, will get us into those 90s today. Cannot rule out a stray shower or thunderstorm, though, this afternoon. Only about a 20% chance of rain. Shouldn't be as crazy as what it has been the last several days. So you can see behind me, though, we are kind of going from one season to the next. It is going to be pretty hot and dry this weekend, though. So if you actually want to get outside and enjoy, it'll be perfect for that. Maybe fit in some of those last-minute summertime activities because a big taste of fall is on the way, and it's going to be trending much cooler and also pretty stormy. We'll have the latest details and what you can expect for next week here in your full forecast in a little bit. Till then, back to you, Annette.
Thanks, Brian. Going to that breaking news now, a major wreck on US 75 leaves 2 people dead this morning. News 12's Olivia Thompson is on the scene. Olivia, what is happening and is it affecting traffic?
All right, good morning, Texoma. And that's right, Annette. There are 2 confirmed fatalities this morning. Going southbound 75, a major vehicle crash happened involving 3 semi-trucks and 2 cars. It appears that one of those was a black sedan, another one was a white sedan, and the back of it is mangled. I'm actually standing as close as I'm allowed to one of those semi-trucks involved. The bottom of it is scratched up. The tire is completely flat. So the semi is kind of leaning a little bit, but I am safe. Now, as far as the passengers inside, they seem to be okay, but they're talking with Sherman's critical investigation team, trying to figure out how this crash happened. Now, earlier this morning, right after 4 a.m., one of those semi-trucks caught fire. That has since been extinguished, but it's causing quite the backup. It's going to be several hours, Sergeant Shaver from Sherman Police tells me, until the southbound side of 75 is open. So commuters going to school or work, you're going to want to get on Katy Memorial Expressway. That's the service road right on the side of US 75. People have been speeding past there, so it's important that you slow down. It is open to 2 lanes now, but you want to slow down. Try not to focus on what's going on the highway. Stay safe so that more personnel does not have to go over there and tend to another wreck. The 691 on-ramp is closed. And also the on-ramp next to QT by Grayson Drive is also closed. So if you have to head south, you want to make sure that you're leaving early, leaving enough time to get to where you need to be and enough space in front of you. Again, 2 confirmed fatalities here, 3 semis involved, 2 cars involved, but the fire is extinguished, thankfully. Denison Police was assisting Sherman PD with this crash, and Sherman Fire and Rescue were also here. You're going to want to stick with News 12 this morning and throughout the afternoon for some follow-up details. But for right now, that's all from me live in Sherman. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Olivia. Stay safe out there. We now know the name of the man killed in a Sherman motorcycle crash Monday night. Police identified 20-year-old Jason Cieros Jr. as the man who died. Police say he was driving east on FM 1417 when he struck a car that was turning west. Van Alstyne ISD says one of their school buses was involved in a crash yesterday. The driver has been placed on administrative leave as part of standard protocol. No injuries were reported. The new school year just started, but report cards are already in. News 12's Austin Hedgecock tells us how Texoma schools fared.
Getting grades back is always scary as a student, but this time it was the schools that were scored. Every year, the Texas Education Agency grades schools and school districts on a scale of A to F. That letter grade is based on student test scores, academic growth, and college and career readiness. In a statement, Texas Education Commissioner Mike Morath said the grades are reinforcing the state's commitment to transparency and accuracy. However, in 2023, the TEA changed its scoring process, and many schools saw a drop in their grades. Over 100 districts sued, and the scores got held up in court for years, but now the grades are out. Statewide, almost a quarter of all districts did better this year than last year. Sherman ISD is one of those districts, moving from a D in 2024 to a C in 2025. The TEA lists A to C as acceptable, but anything below that as unacceptable. A Sherman spokesperson told News 12 the district is committed to giving students opportunities in school and beyond. For Texoma at large, Munster, Lindsay, and Era topped the list with A's. In a statement, Era ISD said the rating shows a commitment to excellence. Van Alstyne, Whitesboro, and Gunner ISD were among those that scored B's. And in the dozen districts with C's, Sherman, Denison, and Bonham. Ector and Gainesville scored D's. To dive into individual school scores and STAR test results, please visit KXII.com. Reporting, Austin Edgecott, News 12.
A well-known store will be closing its doors in Durant. After 50 years, Smart Shopper will be closing. Owner LaWanda Walker turned 83 this month, and after taking a fall at her store, she decided it was best to close this chapter, but her daughter's business will continue.
A few years ago, Mom encouraged me to move out and find my own path, and I bought a building downtown called Designs by Christina. We have a little flower shop, and we love it, and a lot of my customers have followed me there. So we do fresh and silk flowers there.
Smart Shopper will be running close-out specials on everything in the store until they close. As of Monday, American Farmland will no longer receive taxpayer dollars to build solar farms. News 12's Taylor Brooks has reaction here from Texoma.
Farming has been the backbone of the U.S. for centuries.
Our food doesn't come from a grocery store. It starts here. We are the basic bottom level of our economy and our society.
And they need many acres of land to get from planting the seed onto your plate.
There has to be some land for them to be able to start with, and every time you take land out of cultivation, that's fewer acres left.
According to a statement from U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins on the social platform X, that is why American Farmland will no longer use taxpayer dollars to build solar farms.
And I kind of agree with not allowing some of these solar panels to be put on agricultural land. Put it in the desert or put it up in the mountains or somewhere where it's non-productive land for agricultural purposes.
According to Rollins, millions of prime farmland acres are left unusable, causing the destruction of prime soil. And with technology ever changing,
that's what really worries me about who's going to take care of this mess that's out there in 20 years. I think there'll be a better system to gather solar energy than those panels.
Right behind me is an example of one of these solar farms here in Sherman. Now, even though U.S. taxpayer dollars will not be going towards these projects anymore, it doesn't mean the production of new ones will completely come to a stop. But the tax cut isn't good news for all. In previous attempts to reduce green energy, the Solar Energy Industries Association said there are many risks, including a raise in utility bill costs and a decrease in grid reliability. In Sherman, Taylor Brooks, News 12.
Volunteers make up 65% of U.S. firefighters, and communities across the country rely on them in emergencies of all kinds. As News 12's Olivia Thompson reports, a Texoma department just got a nice financial boost.
The Whitesboro Fire Department is one of 7 in Texas to receive a $10,000 grant thanks to a joint partnership between State Farm and the National Volunteer Fire Council. Funds they used to purchase 2 new transport devices.
And stair chairs enable us to get into really tight places, things like RVs, hoarder homes, some of these lake houses, boats on the shoreline. It gives us an opportunity to be able to lift these patients and move them over rugged areas and really confined spaces.
Lieutenant Joshua Velton says what looks like a simple chair has a $4,200 price tag. Now the 15-minute wait for one crew to pass it off to the next will be no more, leading to quicker care and response. Whitesboro Fire, which has both paid and volunteer firefighters, get several fall calls in their service area. This year alone, the demand on EMS services has grown significantly. This month, Grayson County Commissioners voted to put a 1.5% sales tax proposal on the November ballot to assist with the ever-growing cost it takes for agencies like Whitesboro Fire to tend to EMS and fire emergencies in unincorporated areas in the county. Lieutenant Belton says not only will showing up at the polls and voting in favor of that tax help the department, but also showing up and filling boots holds just as much weight as a hefty grant.
A lot of times it's just getting people in key places, and that's what it takes for a lot of these, especially rural volunteer fire departments.
In Whitesboro, Olivia Thompson, News 12.
Well, happy Thursday morning, Texoma. Time now is 6:40. A lot of you are waking up, getting ready to head out the door. And yeah, do they need an umbrella today, or they should be fine?
Maybe have it on standby for this afternoon. Of course, this morning we should be okay. I'm not tracking anything actively out there. It's starting to dry out a little bit, which is actually helping it to not feel as miserable, which is always a nice thing to say in August, especially in southern Oklahoma. We've got lots of low 70s showing up here, but it's mild no matter where you are. Thing is, these temperatures could be our highs next week, and I am not fibbing on that at all. It is definitely going to be much cooler and fall-like, but we still have some summer-like weather to go through until we get to there. High of 93 yesterday. Normally we're supposed to be about 92. Thank goodness it is not 2023. This was when we were in the midst of that 2 to 3 week stretch of record highs every single day. Nothing even remotely close to that this year. We've had a handful of triple digits, but no record highs at all this summer, which is awesome to say. A live look at your Tanglewood Tower Cam, sponsored by Crazy AC Guy. Skies are, again, as you just saw there, mostly clear. We have a few clouds out there, but a little bit of that northeasterly breeze in place. So therefore, could be enough today to fire up a few storms. But thing is, the source of that moisture is land, and that is starting to dry out. So highs today, very similar to yesterday. I'd say almost a near repeat, honestly. Just maybe less in the way of some of those thunderstorms. And then we start to clear out as we go into the upcoming weekend, which my advice is, if you're trying to get some last minute summertime activities, you may only have a short window of opportunity to do that, because at least right now, if the pattern continues to keep going the way it's going, fall may be here as early as next week. We'll see. Highs, though, in the 90s, though, as we head into this weekend. Definitely feeling like summer. Feeling maybe as hot as 100 degrees or so, but we don't actually have any heat advisories, which is also some good news. So, again, take advantage of the lake, especially if you want to get in some last-minute swimming or boating. Lake Texoma stats and your fishing game forecast for your Thursday. Sponsored by Blackbeard Marine. Good luck if you're going to be heading out that way. Now, I just want to point out, it is pretty rare to see a 6 to 10 day outlook like this at the end of August. Lots and lots of blue. Now, of course, this would be horrible to see in February, because that means a big freeze is coming. But here in Texoma, that means that we could have October-like weather, especially closer to the deeper blue, which it's getting deeper and deeper for us. Not only that, but the greens are starting to get deeper too, which would indicate above average rain chances in tandem with the cooler temperatures. This is what it looks like on 7-day forecast, which is sponsored by Budget Windows. Unusual and actually maybe potentially record breaking on the cool side of things, especially if we only have a high of 76 for Wednesday. We'll see. However, it's going to be almost pumpkin spice season out there. We'll definitely keep you updated.
All right, thanks, Brian. Coming up next, a new entertainment venue coming to Sherman. A look at what's in store at the backyard. Time now is 6:44. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Yesterday, lawmakers in Texas heard from families whose children died in the July 4th tragedy at Camp Mystic. Jason Allen reports from Kerrville.
Our seal was swept away, along with other bright, beautiful girls.
Cece Williams Stewart's 8-year-old daughter Seal washed away from Camp Mystic when it was hit by a flash flood. Since then, search teams have found more than 130 people who were killed, but they have not found Seal.
48 days later, Seal remains somewhere in the devastation of the Guadalupe River. We wait, trapped in agony, until she is brought home.
In a Texas Senate committee hearing room filled with heartache and anguish, parents of the 27 campers and counselors who died at Camp Mystic pleaded for stronger emergency safeguards.
The picture you're seeing was my last living memory of my daughter.
Clark Baker recalled the joy his 8-year-old daughter Mary Grace brought to everyone around her.
Camps, especially those in areas prone to flash floods, should have adequate warning systems and not build cabins in dangerous floodplains. Period.
The parents are members of the Campaign for Camp Safety, pushing for reforms, including moving camps away from flood-prone areas, implementing a 24/7 emergency alert system, and standardizing evacuation plans.
Our precious, hilarious, kind, caring, silly, loving little girl died because there was no plan. Instead, they were told to stay in place.
Carrie Hanna's 8-year-old daughter, Hadley, also died that day. Since the floods last month, Texas lawmakers vowed to make safety requirements and flood relief a priority, but finished one special session without agreeing to any changes.
I told her camp was the safest place she could be, and she would make new friends and learn new things. I lied to her. She not only wasn't safe, she died.
Here in Kirk County, in some places, the difference that's been made in a few weeks with a surge of volunteers is dramatic. There are properties cleared, houses that look ready to be restored and rebuilt, but in other places, the work continues. Giant piles of debris, cars, trees that have to be moved. This is miles up and down the river. There are still 2 people missing and enough work here to last for months. Jason Allen, CBS News in Kerrville, Texas.
In Sherman, a brand new entertainment venue has been given the green light. News 12's Gracie Savage has the inside scoop on the backyard.
It is going to be quality food, but we wanted to provide a quality space where people could come see live music or watch a Cowboys game.
At Tuesday night's Planning and Zoning meeting, commissioners approved the backyard, a brand new entertainment space right in the heart of Sherman. According to the developers, this plan has been in the works for a while.
It's been about a year or 6 months maybe in the making. So these processes for projects this large take a long time. So we're still in the planning stages.
Now the backyard will be located right here at Sherman's Crossroads development. It's between Highway 75 and FM 1417, and it's going to have lots of live music coming into Sherman, and they're going to offer a wide variety of food and drink for people to choose from.
If everything goes right, it will be within 2 years for sure.
The developers say Sherman has been a retail juggernaut for years, so it was only a matter of time for a project like this to come about.
A development like this, we believe, will be really successful in Sherman, not only because Sherman is a powerhouse that's already established, but because of the growth that Sherman's seeing.
At the backyard, there will be something for everyone.
Whether it's children or adults, grandparents, everyone can come gather here and have something to do.
Mayor Sean Tiemann tells us this is just the beginning of retail opportunities in Sherman.
We have a bustling retail environment right off of our major highway, Highway 75.
The developers have already started talking with restaurant chains to pick out the best fits. In Sherman, Gracie Savage, News 12.
Time now is 6:58. We're taking a live look outside of our TMC tower cam. This is the scene that we have seen since 5 o'clock this morning. This accident that authorities are working has been very tragic this morning. This is southbound 75 in Sherman, and as you can see there, it's pretty bad. There are 3 semis involved and 2 cars. One of the semis was on fire. What we do know now is there are 2 fatalities. No other known injuries at this time. Now they are saying seek an alternative route if you can. We don't want anyone else getting involved in anything. So if you can take the Katy Memorial Expressway, that would be the best choice if you have to head out south. Now changing gears here, let's talk a little bit about your weather for this Thursday.
Could have a few spotty showers as we head into this afternoon, but overall we're going to be dry. A hot summer-like weekend on the way for us with those 90s, but then we are still anticipating a big shakeup here. Healthy cold front, especially for August standards on the way.
Crazy.
Rain and much cooler temperatures.
Yeah, 76 for next week is just
so excited.
So good. Yeah, you did the little dance.
So excited.
Love it.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Brian. Have a wonderful Thursday and be safe out there.